You have trained for years. You can block, strike, and grapple, but you still cannot explain exactly what is happening in a fight. That ignorance is the root of fear and failure under pressure. Every martial artist faces the same problem. You see a punch coming and you parry it. But can you articulate the precise biomechanical elements of that punch beyond its general arc? You feel a shift in weight during a grapple, but you cannot name all the human and environmental elements that created the opening for your takedown. You are solving problems without a complete blueprint. You navigate by landmark, not by GPS. This gap in understanding creates uncertainty. Uncertainty feeds fear. Fear breaks your technique. The White Lotus system solves this problem by giving you the framework to deconstruct every combat condition into its core components. You stop guessing and start knowing. The White Lotus system teaches you to freeze frame any martial arts event. Whether you face a static posture or a lightning-fast kinetic exchange, you can systematically explain exactly what is happening through 6 categories of elements. You identify the human elements, the opponent's emotional state, the specific body part they use as a weapon, and their sensory focus. You identify the biomechanical elements, the exact vectors, planes, and rotational paths of their movement. You identify the combative elements, the timing initiative, the distance, and the tactical objective. You identify the processing elements, whether they observe, formulate, or execute. You identify the psychology elements driving their action and the environmental elements influencing their movement. This is not theory. This is a learnable skill. Fear in combat is a biological response to the unknown. Your heart pounds. Your mind races. Your techniques falter because you face something you cannot fully comprehend. The White Lotus system rewires this response. When you possess the intellectual framework to understand exactly what is happening in any combative condition, fear transforms into respectful comprehension. You do not fear the punch. You respect the specific conditions of its velocity, angle, and timing. You do not panic in a grapple. You respect the biomechanical and tactical elements being applied. This deep understanding creates mental clarity. Your mind operates with speed. You access a clear database of cause and effect relationships. You see a configuration of elements and you know with certainty which mechanical solution works best. This capability rests on a dual pathway. Modern combat martial arts, or MCM, teaches the physical foundation. Through basic skill development, you master the solo mechanics of the 6 core fighting skills. Through intermediate skill development, you apply these exact mechanics against the pressure and resistance of a partner. You build the physical competence to execute solutions. The White Lotus digital library provides the intellectual mastery. You learn the 6 elemental categories and their interactions. You transition from performing a technique to understanding the elemental conditions that make it necessary and effective. MCM gives you the how. The digital library gives you the why. Together, they remove the ambiguity that has plagued martial artists for generations. You stop training in the dark. Other systems offer techniques. Some offer principles. Only the White Lotus system offers complete elemental literacy. You learn to freeze frame and deconstruct any combat condition. You identify the human, biomechanical, combative, processing, psychology, and environmental elements in every exchange. This skill transforms your training. Every drill becomes a lesson in cause and effect. Every sparring session becomes a test of your analytical framework. You stop reacting and start reading. You stop guessing and start knowing. The mystery of combat dissolves. You face each opponent with clarity and purpose. You act appropriately, efficiently, and decisively. This is the end of martial arts mystery. This is the beginning of true mastery. Stop training in the dark. Learn to read every combat condition. That is the difference between fear and control. That is the White Lotus difference.